Okay, so Ed's always struggled with his love life, and he's gonna have his married friend try to find him a wife. So she recruited this statistical mastermind, Bartlett, to help Ed find the love of his life. And so what he's gonna do is gonna have him rate these ladies on three different factors, and we're gonna see if there's anything underlying there, and so he can have a better idea about why his buddy Ed chooses the ones he does. So this question, we want to, what are we doing? What is the purpose of factor analysis or principal components analysis? Well, let's look at the data. So this is the ratings, and so this is kind of a weird little scatter plot here. But what you can do is it's kind of like a matrix, but just instead of numbers, it's got actual pictorial data. So you can look at, so you would think here there's a pretty good correlation between smart and attractive. And that's a positive correlation. There's a pretty good correlation between these two factors, and then there's maybe a negative one here between crazy and attractive, and then and you can see that there's two of each, right? Uh, and so this is actually the basis of what we're going to be of how principal components analysis works. And so it's going to take this data, and one of the easier things to make you understand it a little bit better is to put it in like a three-dimensional space, because we have three ratings for each person, and so it's not just a regular scatter plot like this. So what factor analysis or principal components analysis is going to do is try to find underlying factors. And so if you put it on a three-dimensional space like this, you could think of it as like a plane that is going to kind of go through the most of the variance between these points. See, it seems like we got a lot of variance right here on this axis right here. But then it's also going to find another factor which is going to be going the opposite direction. And you can see there's also some variance here. See, this variable's high here, and then we've got a couple ones low, and so that might be a second factor. However, there could also be a third factor. Maybe that would kind of go that way. And you can see, and so it's looking for the underlying factors. It's not as much focused on these main axes. We're just looking for some underlying issues that might be common across the three variables that we're looking at. And so it's really helpful and can be really interesting to look at this at factor analysis, and sometimes I end up doing it in lots of things that I'm looking at to try to find underlying dimensions. And so we're going to go through and start doing some of the calculations next.